good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel, and salute. So listen, y'all had to know this was coming. I gave you a whole speech, prelude, if you will, about what was to come, fam. I told you I had recently stumbled upon Squid Games. And when I tell you, from the moment it grabs you, it doesn't let you go. Very few shows can do that. I could probably count my favorites on one hand. This is one of them. And I'm willing to watch this having not finished the season yet. I think it's 8 episodes and I'm on episode number 7, but you could kind of see what it's coming down to. And if I had to guess, you could probably see who's possibly gonna win. I don't know how it's gonna play out. So if it is a spoiler in this, I don't care because I'm still gonna watch it, see it, and probably rewatch it again. It's very few shows that have that replay value. It's not too many shows for me that have replay value. I can name my favorites. The Wire. It's probably at least once a year I have to go from start to finish in The Wire. From beginning to end. All season. All episodes. I gotta do that once a year. What's been a favorite of mine at Blacklist? Breaking Bad. You gotta go back through Breaking Bad. Gotta watch that from beginning to end. That's one of the great ones. And I'm pretty sure it's a few more for me, but not many. Those are, and now I have to add Squid Games onto it. I'm so mad I only got one season. You ever watch something and you mad because you know it has to end soon? That's when you know something is good. So I'm here for it. So this video here is the top 10 dark Squid Game theories too real to ignore. I don't even know how you can get any darker than the actual show. It is dark already. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into all of that, man. This is the open discussion forum for Squid Games, all right? So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, join the fam real quick. Once you do that, moment of silence for the haters, that's enough. Now run the likes up. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Here we go. Hold on. Let me check something, y'all. Let me check something. Okay, we good. Had to make sure that mic check. 1 2 1 2 was on. Let's go, let's check this out, here we go.
Squid Game is the talk of the town. The Korean series hit Netflix mid-September and most of us binged it over the course of a weekend. Let's be honest here, we're all still tired. We watched it on the way here. Written and directed by Hwang Dong-hyuk, Squid Game puts 456 players in a series of deadly children's games to win billions of dollars, but you have to survive first. That's the only thing. Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm Taylor McWaters, and
everybody who don't know, that was the famous where they just showed this clip here. Let me go to it. Hold on.
On the way here.
This clip here is the famous red light, green light scene. This scene here is the scene that I talked about at the beginning that grabs you. This what grabbed me. And I was like, yo, what just? And then it just went crazy. Oh, man.
Of deadly children's games to win billions of dollars, but you have to survive first. That's the only thing. Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm Taylor McWaters, and here are top 10 dark Squid Game theories too real to ignore. Also, spoilers coming in hot. Of course, you click this, you should know this.
I was like, that's why I said it in the beginning. I'm pretty sure it was gonna have many spoilers, but it's all right. It's all good. It's all good because I'm still gonna watch it.
Do it. Kicking off the list at number 10, blue or red. When The Matrix first came out, my friends and I would always joke about the blue pill or the red pill. That was the whole conversation. Now we're back to a similar conversation, only this time it's the red card or the blue card. What'll it be, folks? Let's start smacking it against the ground as hard as we can and see. Now the show opens up with our main character, Seong Ji-hun, played by the wonderful Jung Jae-lee, and he's down in the dumps, more or less. Not a great father really at all, just horrible money problems too. So when he's approached in the street to play a game of Daki for money, he of course says yes. Now he loses over and over and over again, he's getting slapped literally in the face numerous times, but eventually he wins and gets a nice chunk of change. He's then asked in a Morpheus manner, red or blue. Ji-hun chooses blue and subsequently ends up as a player in the Squid Games. Now what if he chose red? Well, an ongoing theory suggests that those who ended up in similar debts that chose red ended up becoming workers there instead of players. TikToker Lucy What One posted
didn't even think about that. So he had the opportunity to be a player or a worker. To which I look at them as like, they're like little, the workers, they're like knockoff minions. They just not yellow with the body wise and have the overalls, but in the one eye. Like they remind me of minions, the Squid Games workers. You know what I mean? That throws me off.
Did this question online, so now we're talking about it in the office all day long. Okay, so this theory checks out. It's stated in the game that everybody is equal, but you know what? I'm a blue guy for sure. If I had to pick, I would be so screwed. I'm like, blue looks nicer. I like blue. I'm a blue guy. Number 9. I am your father. This one, I have to admit, I thought of as well watching the show for the first time. So yes, I'm also a genius. Episode 3, we find our main character Ji-hun at this gaming facility. Now it's almost like a dystopian future in terms of bunking, prison vibes for sure. Even when it comes to being fed, Ji-hun requests chocolate milk because he can't drink regular milk. Side note, that's a great tip for always getting chocolate milk. I'm gonna start saying that. Il-nam, the older man, 001, asks Ji-hun if he was spanked as a child a lot. And he replies, how did you know? And then Il-nam tells him that his son did as well, and that he was just like him. Just like him, eh? Interesting. Episode 3, sprinkling in those key factors. Now cut to the marble game, episode 6. There's a neighborhood setting built for this one, a neighborhood setting that Ji-hun recognizes. Looks a lot similar to the one he grew up near. Interesting. Now let's backtrack to that first episode where Ji-hun is attempting to get into his mom's bank account. He tries a series of numbers, and if you've ever done an escape room, you're probably leaning in at this point. He tries to use his own birthday, which is 0426. April 26th. And in that 6th episode, Il-nam asks Ji-hun if it's the 24th yet because his son's birthday is coming up. Almost like it's 2 days later on the 26th. Yeah, maybe?
I didn't put that together. I didn't even, wow. Then that would make sense of why he let him win. Cause I was saying, throughout the whole thing, me and Queen was sitting there watching, and I'm like, yo, this old man, like, he's smarter than what he's leading on. You know what I mean? Like, when they did the tug of war, and he came through with the information for the tug of war, for them to win tug of war, like, the old man was, I think he was playing coy a little bit, because he was smart. And when they started the marble game, he was tearing dude up. The old man was tearing him up. He let him win. He played that whole amnesia. What did you say? Oh, because dude said this first, but then he changed it. No, old man had it won, but he felt sorry for some reason, and I didn't know. And then this could be a possible reason.
Yeah, the numbers as well. The first number and the very last, that tipped me off right from the start of the show. Many believe he was gearing up to hand the games down to his own son. That would be lovely. Here's some chocolate milk and tons of death traps. Enjoy, happy birthday. Number 8, changing sides. There's a big turning point in this game that makes it stand out against other shows with similar themes. They get to vote and then they get to go home. Problem solved? Question mark. After the first vote to cancel this Mario Party from hell, the players go back to their real life. Thing is, most of them need that money still. The trauma is already embedded in their brains at that point, so you know what? You might as well finish the mission. 14 players chose not to go back after the 50-51 split because, you know, they don't want to play tug of war till death. Fair, more than fair. But what did those 14 players do instead? Well, the front man tells other guards to watch out for players who didn't return. Yeah, you can't just walk around town and then tell everybody about these games. That's a no-no. Plus, as we see in the show, it's not easy to believe people when they tell cops about this game anyways. Like, he goes and he explains the games and they're like, yeah, this is insane, get out of here, you're crazy. So a theory is that the players who didn't return still were recruited to pay their debts by being a worker instead, by going onto the red side. And if you look at the 14 who didn't return, plus previous games, they must have had people there leaving, so it kind of adds up to the amount of workers that we had in season 1 of this show. Hot theory, we love it. Number 7, winners return. So you win the game, you're rich, now what? Well, considering the patterns that got them in there in the first place, odds are they probably just spent those winnings and then got themselves in yet again another hole. We literally see this in the first episode with our main dude. So many believe that the guards are previous winners who have fallen back into a gambling debt, or they just can't live normal lives after. After one boy was discovered—
Whoa. Do you know how much money they were talking about up there? Now, I don't know what that translates into US, but they were talking billions. Billions that was sitting up there in that little globe that looked like a pig or whatever type of little piggy bank or whatever that was. That clear little bank that filled up clearly had billions in it, right? You're blowing that? It's no way. After seeing what I saw in that initial red light, green light game and me leaving or me staying and winning the money, I'm never coming back here. If I lose it, then that's it. The chances of you surviving this again or getting out again, no, it ain't happening. It's not happening. You see what happened when they paired them up and they was thinking, because the previous game was might have been a tug of war, and the one where they did the marbles, people were teaming up because they thought they was going to team up with this person that was going to help them win. And when they got inside there, they teamed up with the person they were going against. Like the mental stuff they put them through. Like, no. I'm not coming back here. There's no way I'm coming back here.
To be a guard in episode 3, it kind of makes you wonder. I mean, kids are really good at these games after all, so it wouldn't shock me if he was a past winner. Also, that's horrible to have a kid playing these games. Oh my God. Number 6, red hair return. We love a glow up. You change your hair, you're a new person. You start doing unnecessary hair flips, starting to say pardon a lot. You know, you're the talk of the town. You're feeling good. Well, in the finale, Jihan decides to change his hair color up a bit, but that transition takes a while after he wins the game. He also doesn't even touch the prize money right after he wins for more than a year, obviously. Too much guilt for chocolate milk. Is there such a thing? It's not until the old man reveals that he was behind the Squid Games does Jihan start spending that money. He starts dressing nice and changing his hair color to red. It's cool. Now, the show director says that this was done because it was the craziest.
I thought that too. You notice when the old man was killed, they didn't show it. And I thought that too. I was like, everybody else has been straight up, pow, it happens, boom, you see it. You almost start to get numb to it, which was scary for me. I was waiting on it. I was like, oh, it's about to go down, bump this, stop all this sentimental crap. Let's keep the games going, especially when they was doing the marbles and all these conversations and all these emotions. I was like, bump this sentimental crap. Let's get back to it. You know, I kind of scared myself a little bit, but they didn't show the old man die. And I was like, yo, what if that makes sense now?
Thing that his character would do, you know, changing his hair, being all different. He's all dark and edgy now, right? Okay. But some believe that he dyed his hair red because he's going back now to pose as a worker in season 2. And that's how he'll take revenge on the game. There's nothing planned yet for season 2, but this feels like a good call. I'm leaning towards this one. Number 5, game theory. We love big metaphors, especially when we watch them for an entire weekend, for 9 hours. And apparently Squid Game is just that. The online community has looked at this show from a bigger perspective. Game theory is the study of interactive decision making, where the outcome for every player purely depends on the actions of everybody involved. So if you move the star in Mario Party, you're moving it away from Luigi, but you're also playing yourself later down the road. You gotta think about others in order to make your decisions, while at the same time, people are banking on you to make certain calls that they can later on, you know. So in this show, the choices of the rich and lack of the choices from the poor have equal power. Squid Game is an example of what's called zero-sum game or empty-sum game. An advantage won for a single side is a loss on the other side. Luke 6:31, do to others as you would have them do to you. Or for the non-religious folk, check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself, I guess. Number 4, foreshadowed deaths. This one made me go back and take a look at each episode. This one's pretty good. The entire time we're rooting for these players, we're also so anxious because these games are gory, they're twisted, they're not for the faint of heart. So as we're growing closer to these players, we're hoping that they don't bite the dust. But the way they end up meeting their fate was there the whole time. Player 101, the mafia guy, originally jumped off a bridge to avoid casino debt collectors, and then in the 5th game, he dies by falling off a bridge. Player 67 threatened to slash somebody's neck in real life, and then in the game, they get theirs cut. Also, player 111, he got in trouble before the game started. He was sued for malpractice, just doing the medical system dirty, and then in the game, he was taken out for dissecting dead players. Player 212 as well promises to finish the game with player 101, and during that bridge fall, she actually grabbed him and took her down with him. A lot of connections, a lot of lessons.
That was crazy. The fact that she took him down like that, I was like, no. I didn't think he was gonna go out like that.
A lot of anxiety. Enjoy. Number 3, other games. When the guests first arrive in North Korea, there's hints that this Squid Game wasn't a one of a kind. One of the VIPs says to another that the games in Korea are always so interesting. Okay, so more than one? What makes this one interesting? Look, I'm sure in this world there's other twist-rich masterminds with their own plans and how to use their money. I mean, all of ours on Earth just want to go to space. That's a good call, I guess. But
That was another thing we talked about. Like, we're starting to see this a lot. You see it in like different shows that has a ton of seasons, where these rich people, they all come to these secret locations and then they bid on people and expensive things and weird things that they do, but it's never talked about. Like, you can't tell me this ain't happening. It's happening. We just don't know about it. Like, when people obtain lots of money, their true colors start to show. And some people are into some very weird, spaced out, crazy type of stuff. And they get off on stuff like this. So to be part or to invest in a game that takes people and pushes them to the brink and kills them and is gory, all about a game and stuff like that. It's people who really pay for stuff like this. You can't tell me, I'm super convinced. Anytime I see a scene like that, or this, or where they take some person that they put into this trafficking and put them up and people stand around and bid on them, like, that stuff is real.
when it's revealed that the old man was really the one who put this game together the whole time, plus the theory that they're related, we now have a new idea. What if the games were just his way of Ji-hun reliving a childhood, a lost childhood, with a horrible twist? Il-nam even tells Ji-hun that it was fun to play with him. A specific theme, creepy and fun, but what about other games? Are those also kid-themed? What if other game makers around the world missed out on board games? Will theirs be like board games from hell? Yeah, let's play Monopoly, but if you land on Baltic, you turn into vapor. Have fun. Number 2, changing sides. So I mentioned earlier that our main guy, Ji-hun, dyed his hair and then he plans on taking down the organization. So the online community thinks that Ji-hun and Jun-ho are pretty much going to swap roles for the next season whenever it does come around. We didn't see Jun-ho die on screen, and after that big reveal that he's in fact brothers with the frontman, I really can't see him being gone for season 2. Also, season 2 would kick off on a pretty intense note if both players swapped morals all of a sudden. I'd love to see Ji-hun sneak into the games just like Jun-ho did, because that was a brilliant reveal. Part of me wants every season to be completely different, kind of like Hunger Games or whatever, but at the same time, a consistent play throughout these seasons could be the trick for us watching forever.
Like, how do they top that first season? How do you top that? Like, you set the bar extremely high. How do you even top that? That's what I'm nervous about. Because when I find something that's good and they do one season and I'm hooked, I'm scared because I'm like, man, I just hope the second season isn't a letdown. It's hard to top something like that.
Kind of like how Saw kept making movies. I smell the next John Kramer, for sure. And finally, number 1. Number 1's jacket. We'll end this list on a nice touch, I guess, a small act of kindness that we now know has a much deeper meaning. Let's look back to the first riot. The front man and the workers are just watching everybody get taken out and it's pure chaos. But as soon as our number 1 man, the guy behind it all, unbeknownst to us, says that he's scared, the doors open immediately. So that was a glimpse of his power, only we as an audience at this point thought it was because he's old and confused. Now, he knew what he was doing. Another game-changing moment was later when Ji-hun received his jacket before re-entering the competition. It seemed, again, like an act of kindness, but really, he knew that jacket, with that number, held immunity for the games. Guys, those are just 10 Squid Game theories, too real to ignore, but which ones did we miss? Have you seen this insane show? Did you also just waste your entire weekend watching this because you had to binge it? Of course you did. Let's talk.
Listen, if you have not watched Squid Games, and I trust me, I was a person too when my son first turned it on for me. I'm like, man, I'm not about to sit here and be reading this or listening to this, and the words is not matching their mouth. You know, it looks like it's out of sync and reminded me of old karate movies. I'm like, so it took me months. I don't know however long this, like, I just watched it now. This crazy talk about this show has been going on for a while. I just now started it. And it's still that lit. It's still that crazy. So if you have yet to see it, sit down, grab you something, maybe put the kids away. It might be a little bit too rated R for them, but for the adults, if you don't mind a little bit of I don't even know how to classify it, but if you don't mind it, you should check it out. You should definitely check it out. All right. So y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all think, and stick around and stay tuned, man. Until the next reaction, I'm out. Peace, y'all. Stay solid. Hey.